Well, hey there, and welcome to this edition of B.E.P Talks, where people from all walks of life, from all industries and professions, different ages, different stages of career and life itself, come so generously to share their beliefs, their experiences, and their passions. B.E.P Talks. That's what it's all about. And I am always so intrigued by the amazing stories that are shared and how they can relate to all of us one way or another. And I'm very, very happy to introduce you to this episode's very special guest, coming to us from the beautiful mountains of Colorado here in the United States. Please welcome Eryn Kubinski.
Hi.
There she is from the beautiful mountains of Colorado. Thanks for joining me, Eryn. I've anticipated this conversation and I'm eager to have it. Um, like so many people, you have many different titles, many different aspects of life, and I'm intrigued by all of them in your case. You are listed as a mental health coach. You are a former professional athlete. You're a physical therapist. And the best role that you have, you're a mom. So how wonderful. How wonderful. I want to go back to the professional athlete. What sport were you involved in?
I was a professional road cyclist. And then after I did road cycling, I moved into triathlon and I was an elite triathlete and I competed at like the national and world stages as a triathlete also.
Oh,
But
now
as a,
you're just
yeah,
showing off. You know, now you're just showing off. As well you should. Oh my gosh. So do you still ride a bike like for your cardio and,
I do. Yes.
enjoyment once you
I,
do?
I actually teach spin classes again in my life for fun. But yeah,
Spin, okay, spin class and fun in the same sentence. I've got to kind of like let that settle. I've got to let that settle. Okay. One of your other, I don't want to call it a title or a brand or whatever, but would you please explain to us what a mental fitness coach is?
so I teach people how to rewire their brain, right? So a lot of um, trans transformation and stuff or getting rid of habits or getting rid of addictions is about getting to the layer of self and the layer of thought and emotion and how they're connected, and it's kind of bringing the unconscious conscious so you can make the shift in how you think, so then you can release the grip something has on you, whether it's sugar, carbs, um, pizza, whatever is whatever your vice is, whether it's scrolling, like there's so many other things outside of food that keep people unhealthy. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
Alcohol, pot, whatever the list goes on, or medications, right? We get addicted to medications.
absolutely,
We take them for
absolutely,
a crutch and then we never let the crutch down.
exactly, exactly. So today, maybe even more popular than I can remember for a long time. It's so heavily advertised on TV, weight loss. We seem to be, it's a strong word, but I'm going to use it, obsessed with
Mhm.
weight loss. And um, I was in a business years ago where fitness was a component of it and a personalized nutrition program so that people could lose weight. And it worked very, very well. And I always was amazed that people would say, I'll do anything to lose weight except change the way I eat and exercise. Other than that, I'll do anything to lose weight. Why are we so obsessed with that as a goal and yet so reluctant to actually do what needs to be done?
Well, I mean, the industry, it's broadcasted at us, right?
Yes.
Because it is broadcasted at us, we start doing it, right? Like, you and I have been through the fat-free phase, the sugar-free phase. Now we're in the carb-free phase and the high protein. And I was like, and when is the water phase coming? Anybody? Anybody want to like broadcast water?
You know that many years ago, there was a doctor named Dr. Stillman, and he had something called the water diet. And this may be, when was that I read about that? Maybe it went back to the 60s or the 70s. Um, yeah, Dr. Stillman,
I'm gonna
the
look
water
that up.
diet. Interesting, interesting. So now, when you talk about as a mental health coach, and you said, helping people break um, bad habits, maybe, or triggers, identify triggers so that they can break a habit,
Mhm.
is weight loss one of the topics that you deal with?
So weight loss is the main topic that most people come to me because they want to lose weight. But what people
Okay.
really want is to regain self-trust because of all the noise coming at us. You don't know when to eat, what to eat, how much to eat, what's really important, and you've lost the ability. And then you wear these devices that tell you like if you're doing good or not, or the rings or what like, and you've lost the ability just to check in with yourself. Right. And so when we don't have the ability to like think for ourselves and we're being broadcasted all the information, you get very lost. And then you just throw in the towel and you just do whatever you want to do, or you just give up.
You give up. You give up. So when you say it's broadcast ads, and clearly it is. I mean, it's on all day, every day, all day. The shots, the pills, the this, the that. What is it about our the way our brain works that we'll do something like that because we're told to do it? Like, is it the restriction that makes a behavior, at least for a temporary period of time, something that we can do? But does that change anything? Does
Right.
that really identify what the trigger was so that
Right.
if you stop the pills or the shots, you can continue on your own?
Well, I don't want to get too deep into the GLP-1 pill stuff. Like that's a
Okay.
deep conversation. But as far as like anybody can do anything for a short period of time. As soon
Yeah.
as you put always, this is how you for the rest of your life, you're going to have to always not eat carbs. Forget about
Mm,
it. And then your brain says no, right?
yeah.
Whenever we put a very like definitive, like never, then our brain immediately, where is it? I need to get it. And we can't give it up. So if I told somebody, like, you're never going to be able to drink another Coca-Cola in your life, then that's all they would see everywhere.
Yes.
But as
Yes.
soon as I say, look, we're going to teach you how to, you can have a Coke whenever you want to have a Coke. You're just no longer going to desire the Coke. Well, how does that sound? Like to not have a desire to even drink it.
Oh.
Now
Well,
you're interested.
well, yes. Well, I'm interested in the possibility of that by simply telling somebody you can have it, but you're not going to want it.
Mhm.
Is it as simple as that?
Well, that's how easy it is. And that is one of the things
Okay.
that the GLP-1 medication does is it takes out the noise chatter. It changes, for some people, it changes like your taste buds so the thing doesn't even taste good anymore. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, it does a lot of different things, but what you want to train your mind to is I can have it, but here are the reasons why I don't want to have it. So a lot of work I do is like aligning your decisions with your values, right? Having a really deep emotional, physical, like, emotional, like you can feel your emotion
Mhm.
attached to your goal. So the goal is not, I want to lose 10 pounds. The goal is, I want to be able to do X, Y, or Z, or feel X, Y, or Z, look in the mirror and be happy to look in the mirror, right? Like some people can lose the weight and still look in the mirror and still hate themselves.
Yes, of course. And how sad is that? How sad is that? That's a whole other issue. Um,
Well, that's the issue that I get to. So we lose the weight and we fall in love with ourselves.
oh, so it's not about losing, it's about gaining.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, that's a great quid pro quo. You're
Yeah.
not just losing, you're giving yourself permission if you want it. So, whatever happened when it comes to weight loss? Whatever happened to the word moderation?
I don't know.
Kind of lost
Um,
that.
we have lost that, in the speaking of it. But the reason there's probably not that isn't broadcasted to us is it's a money-making industry. I mean, the
Well,
wellness industry is $1 billion industry, and the reason they make so much money is because it doesn't last, right? It
mhm.
just puts you on a temporary fix. And then a lot of things I talk about is like, hey, guys, oh gosh, um, the
Dog,
uh,
they
the
can
dogs
join
are.
us.
But the reason why that, there are great plans out there made by amazing physicians and amazing PhD people, but they're designed really for a specific human, normally the person who designed it. When
Oh,
I
that
work
makes
with a
sense.
client, I really try to help them feel internally what has worked for you, what feels right for you, what do you want, right? And then I share, like, look, my grandmother lived to 93, living on bacon, Coke and ice cream, and toast, and then instant coffee. Like, she ate some good things, but it's not so much about,
A while, yeah.
yeah, so it is about what you eat sometimes, and then it's also about moderation, because she never ate any of that stuff in excess, right? She enjoyed those little foods, and then, yeah, she didn't eat excessively ever.
And they've spoken to people, octogenarians, people who've reached 100 years, and they say, "What's your secret?" Men and women, they go, "Well, I smoke a pack of cigarettes a day, and I drink two scotch on, in a tumbler every night." So nothing is one size fits all in
Yeah.
life. But with weight loss, it seems to be so, what's the word? Epidemic, that despite all of the resources, let's call them, is that as a country, we're getting less healthy, we're getting bigger. I believe you would correct me if I'm wrong, that the obesity issue is starting earlier in life,
Hmm.
and there are some ethnic attachments to that, are there not?
Hmm.
Some cultural differences about how people eat. And I guess the great thing is that if everybody finds what works just for them as an individual, and listen, I have two sisters, and we're all within 3.5 years of each other. And while we are so obviously genetically connected, that we all have such wonderful facts about us that differentiate us. But if we all ate the same thing, exactly in the same proportions every day, we would get different results.
Yes.
That I know because we were raised in under the same roof, and
Yeah.
we did that for years, and
Yeah.
we all ended up with different results. What talk to me about talk about epidemic. You said people looking in the mirror and still not loving themselves. I'm going to guess it's particular with women. Correct me again if I'm wrong. How we self-sabotage.
I think we do it differently than men. I think men do self-sabotage. I think, um, you know, that's for a different topic on a different day, but I could give you a great person to put on your podcast about that. But I do think men self-sabotage differently. Um, in fact, just in my personal life, like being an indecision is a big form of self-sabotage. And I think you can see a
Oh,
lot of men in indecision, in contemplation. Um,
interesting. I didn't even consider that. I didn't even consider, maybe because I know that they have a woman who's just probably going to make a better decision for them.
mic drop.
Mic drop. Maybe, maybe. Oh, I wasn't even thinking about that. But the self-sabotage, and listen, I have to be honest, been there, done that. I am a huge, in my family, I'm known as Aunt Cookie. I'm known as like, I never smoked. I really don't drink. Um, but boy, put a candy bar, put a Hershey bar. I don't even need like really great stuff. Put, chocolate chip cookies. I've never met a chocolate chip cookie that I didn't like. So we all have a little, I guess you could call it.
Hmm. Yeah, we all have, I think we all, like, I call it like our vice, right? We all have a vice, and there's nothing wrong with it. But
Okay.
this is kind of going into the mental fitness side of things. Like, so our digestive system from our mouth down to our bottom has the second largest number of nerve endings compared to our brain. So we feel our emotions between here and here. And then the other thing I tell people is like, look, you can go 30 days without eating. As long as you have water and oxygen, you'll be fine. It will be uncomfortable, but that's life, right? But you can go 30 days. You're not hungry. I'm not even sure if you know what hungry really feels like because you're having an emotion, and bored is an emotion.
Yes. And misunderstanding, you think you're hungry, but you really are thirsty.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always heard good advice. If you think you need to eat something, have a glass of water first and
Hmm.
see if that doesn't, calm the vice as you refer to. Wow, 30 days we could go without eating.
Or
Oh, well,
longer. You could also
there's a
you could
challenge.
also run 3 marathons on no food.
Well, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, but I mean to know your body's capable of that, that you have that much energy stores, it's got to move into ketosis, it's going to feel uncomfortable moving there. You're not going to be performing at the marathon, you're going to just be trudging along, but you
Going along.
have enough energy in your body to do amazing things. And so when people like, I work with athletic people, and reteaching them how to eat around their workout and kind of remove the really strict rules as an athlete. Like I need to eat every 30 minutes in my workout. I need to eat before the workout. I need to eat after the workout. Now I need to eat 3 meals and 2 snacks. I'm like, no wonder you're not losing weight. Like,
Low, low,
you're
yeah.
fueling, the exercise as if you're a top performing athlete, and we're not. We're exercising now for life and for health, right? Like, let's drop that. And then, they're so surprised, like once we start calming down all the food intake, then the gut then gets to rest. People see their performance start to increase. They see their resting heart rate start to increase and their blood pressure decrease, because we're giving a very large system in our body a break.
Break, yeah, resting it.
Yeah.
Thus, when you said, the nerves and everything, that the saying, follow your gut, that there is scientific evidence. They call it the second brain, because so when you feel butterflies in your stomach and your gut, that it's very physiologically correct when they say follow your gut. You mentioned the word ketosis. Is that a dangerous state for your body to be in?
It's not dangerous. I try not.
Just to be, wait, Erin, please, define, I'm familiar with it. Define what it is for our viewers, please,
So
what
ketosis
ketosis
is
is.
when you go into using fat stores for energy, right? So instead of using the carb stores, the easy access energy, we move into fat storage. So our body starts using fat. It's you can run like I said, if you ran 3 marathons, you would move into ketosis, right? Your body's going to deplete the easy fuel. It's going to deplete the high octane carb fuel, and it's going to move into ketosis, which is going to start burning your fat. And in order to get there, you have to have, if you that's why you're on a low carb diet, because now you don't have any extra carbs floating around in your body, and your body has to go into ketosis. It has to pull the energy from your fat stores. I mean, it has a place. I think it was originally designed to treat cancer patients. It's it's not a way to live for life, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think it has a place, but not a lifestyle.
Not a
But I've seen people
lifestyle.
make it a lifestyle. I mean, that
Well,
people
like anything,
do.
I have a niece who's a vegan, and I mean, my gosh, she doesn't pontificate it to anybody, but she follows it. It's like a religion to her, and I don't
Mm.
mean literally, but that she's so devoted to it, and she's a high performer, and it just works for her. And for her,
So
that
that's
was
a
more of a
that's a
social.
great that's a great two things. One, kind of there's a values behind her
Yes,
being
yes. It's
vegan.
not just about the food. No.
It's not about the food. It's not about her, health. It's more about the
Yes,
animals, right?
values. Yes,
Her
yes,
values.
clearly. Yes.
That is a very important part to dive into in this like lifestyle brain rewiring. You know, like you can have the Coke whenever you want the Coke, you're just no longer desiring the Coke. Whatever value is attached to that Coke, and we would dive into that so that you no longer desire the Coke because somehow is attached to a value. We can get into details of that,
Right.
but also performance. She said she was high performing as a vegan.
Yeah, yes, yes.
So this is where, back to my grandmother ate those foods, right? And she lived to 93. She's a vegan and she's thriving. Like our brain, what we think is what is possible. And if you think you can, you can. And
Mm,
if you think you can't, you can't. And if you
oh,
think the
true.
vegan diet is going to sustain you and propel you, it's going to. If you think the vegan diet's going to make you slow and sluggish, guess what? It's going to.
Well, it will. Wow. Wow. That is so true. All right. How do people work with you? Um, you're in Colorado, as I mentioned. Are you able to work with clients virtually?
I do most of my work virtually. I have local clients, but we still meet virtually. I am available. We meet on Zoom, and then we stay in contact on a daily basis, depending on which phase of their weight loss journey they're on. But the weight loss journey is you kind of need somebody in your back pocket.
The
You need,
accountability and yeah,
yeah.
well, that makes
Or
sense. Yeah.
like, what am I supposed to do right now? Now, I can tell you at the level of success is how much they utilize me, right? The people that don't want to utilize me and are like, oh yeah, so I went to, McDonald's and I'm like, you forgot to call me.
Because they don't want to share that conversation. That's like going to confession.
I'm
Yeah.
going, I'm
So
going anyway.
I read something that through your work, I said that it's not just about losing, that you gain.
Yeah.
And I read in your bio information, better relationships at home and at work, and even the potential to earn more income. Fascinating statement. What's behind? I get the relationship thing because if you're happier with yourself, I imagine it's easier to share happiness and find happiness in other things that you don't, trigger at the people closest to you. How does it affect income?
Yeah, so one thing, you're going to gain self-trust. One of the biggest losses in this whole like weight loss cycle is you lose a lot of self-trust. Why can't I do this? Why can't I stick to my rules? Why is this so hard? What's wrong with me? There's just a lack of trusting yourself that you're going to stick to what you said you were going to do.
Mhm, mhm.
So once you start doing this process and you start building that self-trust up, now you're going to show up more confidence. And when you have
Okay,
more
makes sense.
confidence, you can show up in your work environment with more authority, right? Like
True.
with better leadership skills, with an inner knowing that you trust yourself and your team is going to trust you.
Confidence. You have more
Yeah.
confidence.
You
You
make
like in
better,
yourself more.
yeah, you make decisions faster.
Makes so much sense. Any way of knowing in a lifetime how many diets someone goes on?
I would say, yeah, I don't know. That's a great question, but I would say at least once a year. So however many years old you are, minus like the first 17 years. And then some women start dieting much younger. But yeah, I would say probably on average you go on a diet once a year.
What about every Monday?
Yeah, definitely every Monday.
Right. I'll start again on Monday. I'll start over on Monday. Yeah. You started
Definitely every
Monday.
Monday.
It's now Wednesday, and you're going to start again next Monday.
Yeah.
There's so much emotional baggage that goes with this whole thing, isn't there? And it's so important because it's not just about vanity. It's not just about your physical
Hey,
appearance. It's about your health.
yeah, it's
It's
about
about your health. Yeah. How can people work with you? How can people get in touch with you, Erin?
on my website at adventuresofhealth.com, you can book a call with me. And on the call, we discover kind of like where you are on your journey. And then I'm really sorry about the dogs.
That's okay.
And then on the call, we look at like what you've been through and what your personal weight loss map could look like, or your personal weight loss path. Tess, settle down. Come here.
They're exercising.
They are. They're
They're
wondering.
following their plan. I want to repeat that. It's Adventures with an S of Health, adventuresofhealth.com. Please, to the listeners, because I know our audience is predominantly women, but men as well, that if you're struggling with this, that there are solutions because there are reasons you're struggling. And when you can identify the reason, you automatically kind of identify the solution. And here is a former professional athlete who, I mean, Oh, my thighs are hurting just thinking about how many thousands of miles you must have pedaled. So, congratulations on
Thank
all of your success in that arena and from business as well. So, please be in touch with Eryn. If this is something that you're plagued with, I hate to say it, but that if you're suffering with, if you're trying and not succeeding, there are reasons. And Eryn is your pathway to the solution.
thank you.
So embrace that opportunity and be in touch with this wonderful, wonderful professional. I can
Yeah.
just tell how much you know and how your heart is in it. So, Eryn, thank you so much for joining me here on BEP
Yeah, thank you.
Talks
Thank
today.
you for having me.
My absolute pleasure. What you speak about is no minor detail in life. You're talking about health, which is
Yeah.
our wealth. And if you can have better relationships at home, at the office, and have the confidence to be who you truly are meant to be your greatest self. We're here for a very short time, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we
So
are.
true.
Yes, so true. So, Eryn, thanks again so much. And to all of our viewers, our listeners, thanks for joining me again here today on BEP Talks. We want to hear your story. Everybody has one. They're all worth sharing. We want to hear them all. So go to beptalks.com and let's schedule a BEP Talk with you. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And as we always say at BEP Talks, may the best always be yet to come. So until we talk again, bye for now.